Did they make
No,
contact?
no. It's pretty close, but this is going to be a drag race.
Right Look there. At this.
Moves him to win it. Carl Edwards bump and dump and run.
Here comes Gordon right up to the bumper again.
You hear that wheel spin, Benny?
Yeah, I did hear that wheel spin.
The bump and run.
There it is.
Gordon underneath to the lead. 2 laps to go.
And Maine really turned around, made a Riley's cage up.
Welcome to the Bump and Run podcast. I'm your host, Michael D.Y., joined by my two best friends, Matt the Statman Reilly and Eric Daytona Ron. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys had a Kyle Busch type week and weekend, because he is the big winner on social media the last 2 weeks with the little break we got going on here. He's just all over social media. And if you're on social media, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast if you're listening. Available every Monday night, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all that jazz. Also available at bumpthenrunpod.com and at Bump and Run Pod on Twitter. Facebook's on there too. We want to see you guys interacting. We want to see you start sharing some stories like Kyle Busch has. Have you guys been paying attention to Kyle Busch's social media the last 2 weeks?
He had like the type of vacation that I think we all wish we could have.
Like you dream of. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
just no shits given. Absolutely none.
You know what Kyle Busch's vacation reminds me of? Like when we were seniors and freshmen in college and we would go down to Ocean City, Maryland and just cause havoc for a week. That seems like what Kyle Busch and his buddies and his wife have been doing. And I guess they're in Jamaica, the Caribbean somewhere. I don't know, but like he's living the dream right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the Bahamas or something, but yeah, they were drinking, they were doing ski shots, they were
I think he owns
around.
his own ski shop. Like every day he's got it in like their backyard, wherever they are.
I'm sure. And then like
I love that fake press conference was great.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious. So if you don't know about the fake press conference, sorry. So one night on his Instagram story, they were on a golf cart or whatever, being followed by some flashing red and blue lights. Like the cops were following him. And everyone the next morning was like, oh my God, did Kyle Busch get arrested for DUI last night? What's going on
huge
vacation?
Social media buzz.
And later on in the afternoon, he released a video as a press conference, and basically he was like, yeah, I'm just having fun. Nothing really going on. So
yeah,
I thought that
I'm
was
just here
fantastic.
so I don't get fined.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. Yeah.
I think the New Hampshire debacle really pulled it out of him for vacation.
Yeah. Also,
100%.
A little preview of the picks. Matt, can you stop picking this week? Just don't pick anybody. Because last week for New Hampshire, you picked Kyle Busch. He got you 1 point. The week before that, you had Kyle Larson. He got you 31 points. That was a decent. I think he got like a top 15, top 20.
Where were they? Was that
that was at Atlanta? Yeah. And then the week before at Road America, you picked Austin Cindric. He also got you 1 point. So in the last 3 races, you have 2 drivers that got 1 point essentially, and wrecked out of the race. So
I believe I'm picking first again because of how bad
you are.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. I can give you a little sneak. Peek. The only person I'm going to be pissing off is myself this week. If my driver.
Okay.
You want to know what? I've been okay. First, also, we're a little all over the place already. I'm all over the place. Kind of forgot how to do a broadcast because we took last week off. In the previous episode, we said we weren't. We said we were going to be here on Monday. We're going to have all sorts of fun stuff to do. And it was a game time decision that Monday. I was like, I'm exhausted.
Life, buddy.
I need a break.
Man.
You know,
we had
like,
a long weekend that weekend, and I think it was just like there wasn't a lot of news either. I think we anticipated there to be a little bit more news, and there really wasn't.
There was nothing going on.
We had the collective decision to just say punt.
In my eyes, like some of that news too, it could become repetitive after a while. You know, with some of the rumor mill, like how much, like. So rumor goes here, rumor goes there. Like a new rumor will start every week about Kurt Busch and where he's going, and look at where that came. You know,
yeah, pretty much what it came down to was we want to give quality podcasts out. It's not about quantity; it's about quality with us. And we probably weren't going to produce a pretty good podcast last week, so we just decided let's just punt. Let's take the week off like everyone else in the industry, and then come back strong today. So hopefully this show is a strong one.
Yeah, I just want to apologize to anyone listening that was like, "Hey, where were you guys last week? You said you were going to be here and you weren't." So I apologize for that. But yeah, we got a little bit of news to cover. We've got some fun stuff coming up though. We got some silly season rumors. We got some silly season moves, and then I think we're going to break down where we think the NASCAR playoffs are going to go, because we only have, and I'm surprised, we only have 4 races left in the regular season, 2 road courses, a mile and a half in Michigan, and then a 2.5 mile super speedway. So it should be an interesting next couple of weeks on the NASCAR front.
It's all gas, no break from now until almost Thanksgiving. It's full steam
really
ahead.
is.
So, and it's going to just be more and more interesting every single week going forward with the playoffs, just about to start. So yeah. I'm really, really excited. This week off kind of gave us all the break that I think everyone needed, and now we're ready to go for this long stretch here.
Oh yeah. So what have you guys been doing the last 2 weeks though? I feel like I haven't talked to you guys much since NASCAR's not been going on. Usually we're talking daily, and I feel like there was a whole week where we didn't hear from each other.
Yeah, I think I said it in the last episode where I ran out, was doing a little redecorating at the home.
Oh yeah.
So that's been continuing on last weekend, moving furniture, painting, and I'll tell you what, if I never had to have to paint another room again, the taping it all up, peeling it off, 1 coat, 2 coat, painting is not something that I want to do. So glad that that's over with and done, but staying busy here and there. It definitely was a bummer. Like you said, our weeks kind of revolve around NASCAR and the talk around NASCAR during the week and the upcoming weekend. And, when you don't have that, your normal routine, just even texting you guys and like talking about fantasy and this and that, it just all gets kind of thrown off. And when the weekend's here, it's like, is it Saturday? Is it Sunday? Do I have work to
I lose track of the weekend.
You have no idea what's going on the weekend. So I'm glad, the enthusiasm with a week, race coming up this week, it feels a little bit more normal finally. And, that's why I think with this podcast, knowing that the race is coming up, get a preview, and I'm ready to go this week.
I tell you what, that fantasy was a big one for me. Even like last week, I was checking like, oh, is it open yet? Can I start figuring out my lineup?
Yeah, I kept trying to refresh it and refresh it.
It's still not open.
Yeah,
that reminded me. I got to see if Bob Pockris has the top 10.
Yes,
man.
he does. He does. I saw it right before I signed on. He tweeted it out. So the top 10 for Watkins Glen is up. But yeah, I can pretty much mirror what Eric was saying. It's weird not having the races 2 weekends in a row. I mean, we kept busy, like I said in the last episode before we signed off for 2 weeks, was we love the Olympics here at the house. So, we were just watching that pretty much nonstop, whenever we had time to. So that was good. And we had our family party this past weekend. So it was good to see some family, cut loose with them, and just kind of relax and have fun. And so, like I said,
did you get your father a margarita machine yet or no?
I did not. You know what? I talked to him about that. The man doesn't drink margaritas. He's not a margarita guy. Yeah. He's a beer guy.
He's a beer. I feel like a beer and bourbon type guy.
Yep, that's exactly what he is. So he, I feel like it would go to the wayside if I bought him one.
See, but you want to know what? You
I
guys
might buy myself one.
See, you guys have that deck party every year, though. I'm sure the guests would enjoy it.
That's true. I'm going on vacation this week, and we're flying into Fort Lauderdale, and in the airport is a Margaritaville.
Oh, nice.
So before I even step foot on the state of Florida, I'm going straight into Margaritaville. I'm getting myself a cheeseburger in paradise and a margarita or two, and I'm starting it out right.
Oh yeah, just don't cut your toes on a pop top.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to cruise on back home as soon as you get there. Yeah, I know some Jimmy Buffett references.
Yeah, you do. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
But I had myself. You want to know? Honestly, I don't even remember what I did the last 2 weeks. Over the weekend, I went to Knoebels with my girlfriend. You want to know what?
Oh, hell yeah!
Matt, didn't you go to Knoebels a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, we're not too far away from it. I mean, we're like 20 minutes from it. So we'll go and not even ride, because it's an amusement park for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah.
And it's a family-owned amusement park, and you don't even have to pay to get into the amusement park.
Free parking, free to get in. You just use tickets to get on rides. So yeah.
That's right. So sometimes, like, if there's absolutely nothing going on like a Saturday night, sometimes we'll go over and just get some food and just walk around. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, we'll get there like 2, maybe 3 times a year. I know around Halloween, like they have like a nighttime Halloween thing. So if the weather cooperates, we might try to get there for that. But yeah, I was there a couple times, or actually just once this year.
I was wondering because like when I went over the weekend, of course it was Saturday, so it was going to be packed. But like a lot of the rides were shut down. I was a little disappointed. Like all the main roller coasters were running, but I just assume like, oh, they can't get people to work for the weekend and stuff, so it shut things down.
That's exactly what it is. They don't have enough workers. Yeah. It's not even COVID related. It's just like everyone else.
I mean,
going because Dana was talking about going too, and like, oh, let's do a trip down Knoebels. I thought about maybe pulling my camper down there and like doing a weekend thing out of it. But if it's not like a full on, with a whole weekend, just a day trip would probably be more.
I mean, you want to what? I would probably rather spend the weekend down there. That way, you could kind of hit the park at different times and maybe get like a little like a lull in the action and hit the rides.
I love Knoebels. This time of year, Knoebels, it's like it's a little bit cooler. You know what I mean? Towards the end of the day, I love it.
Yep. Oh my god! I just remembered. How about I'm getting old. I could tell it because we were in line at the Twister, and the Twister. If you've never been to Knoebels, you don't know Knoebels. It's a giant wooden roller coaster, and it is fast, and it's like it's like crazy turns and everything. And I haven't been to Knoebels in at least 5 or 6 years. When I was a younger and spry young man, and so we're standing in line right at the end. And it says like, oh, if you have heart condition, don't ride. If you have lower back pain, like don't ride if you're pregnant and all this stuff. I go, oh, I'm on blood pressure medicine. My back hurts. I'm sure I'll be fine. So I'm on the Twister. I'm having a good time. I love roller coasters. And I'm coming around the one turn. I think it was because I had like my arms up. And like it like pulled or whatever, I felt a pop right in my chest and in my back. Like I don't know what I did, but it was killing me where I could barely move my arm. Like, oh my god, I'm having a heart attack on the Twister. I shouldn't have made fun of those people.
Oh, that thing bangs you up though. It really shakes and bangs you around. It does.
Yeah, but it was a good time. Other than that, I've just been laying low and waiting for NASCAR to come back and trying to follow the news. There hasn't been much news, but if you guys want to jump into it, we could go down the line here.
Let's go.
So
let's fill them in.
Let's pick up Porky Piggin. Let's pick up where we left off. I think last Thursday, Hendrick Motorsports got popped. They had a level 1 penalty for swapping a race engine from the 9 to the 48 before it was inspected by NASCAR. And Matt, you were very mad about it because there was like some points deductions and everything that went along with it. I think some crew chief ejections. Did that happen or
no? I don't think the crew chiefs got ejected. I think it was just a monetary fine and a points fine. Okay. Yeah, which I mean, in the long run for both Bowman and Chase, they have a couple wins each. It's not really going to affect them that much, or at least I mean, I could be eating my words. It might down the road, if it comes down to a point or two. Yeah, I was upset about it. And then, you know what, actually, when you guys, because we had talked about it, we actually kind of had a heated discussion about it in our text message
I was
group.
Trolling you a little bit too. I felt bad.
I know. And it was coming off. I was still hot from New Hampshire and everything. Yeah. And after you explained it to me, I then understood a little bit better why the penalty was in place.
It's a big deal. So yeah. So for people at home that don't know, we got into it because whenever your driver gets penalized, you're like, well, that's a bullshit penalty. Why does that rule even exist? I did it a couple weeks ago, and Matt threw it in my face. Tyler Reddick had to drop to the back of the line because of an unapproved adjustment where he legitimately just had to plug back in his ignition box to start the car, which I thought was BS. But you know what? Rules are rules. And that's what I was giving to Matt. Matt was all fired up. He's like, what does it matter what engine they used? It's the same company. They already said it didn't give any type of advantage, which it didn't. There was no competition advantage to it. But when I was trolling you, I started actually doing some digging, and I realized much like
I agreed with Matt. See, I agreed with Matt to begin too. And I was defending, I was coming at you too. I think that's bullshit.
Because Because
like Matt said, it's all in the wording, and like the way NASCAR words some of these violations,
it could be very vague and
very
confusing.
vague, very confusing, and they don't really word it to I don't know, like it's not that you don't understand it, it's just they're leaving out bits and pieces that would help you understand it.
Yeah. So from what I understand, we have 32 races in a season, and
36.
So, but every team is allotted, I think they have to use 16 engines twice at least. So there's a certain allotment when it comes to engines. Same with chassis. NASCAR teams are only allowed to have so many active chassis at the same time. I forget the number. I think it's 5 or something like that. That way you can't build cars ahead. You can't have a brand new car for every single race. And it's kind of like the motors. Well, apparently Chase Elliott had a winning engine, and there's some rules where it has to be torn down by NASCAR. It has to be inspected to make sure that it didn't violate anything, and you can use it after it's been torn down. Well, they reused that motor before it was torn down, and they put it in Alex Bowman's car. Now, if it was torn down, they could have used it in anybody's car. It wouldn't have mattered. But because it wasn't torn down, they put it in Bowman's car, and
the thing that I found bogus about it is that there was nothing nefarious with the engine. Like there was no competitive advantage that they found. They admitted that there was no competitive advantage.
I think down the road there could have been a competitive advantage. You know what I mean? And that's the gray area that it's like, hey, that could be an advantage. It wasn't now, but if, with the whole engines and use thing, hey, if he's coming down, he needs to win a race. And, I don't want to use that down the road. It could be. And that's the gray area.
That's the thing, because down the road, you might have to reuse an engine. And if your numbers are off, the books are a little fudged, and it looks like, we only used this engine once, but it really got used twice in 2 different ones. They could use that same engine 4 times somehow, then just who knows what kind of implications that could have down the line. So they did get hit with a monetary penalty, and what was it, 10-point deduction for each team,
10 or 20 or something. Yeah.
I think it was just 10 points. Speaking of HMS, former an HMS alum, Jimmy Johnson has been testing Indy cars on the oval. He says he could run the 500, but he also said he'd be open to coming back to NASCAR and maybe racing a one-off race or anything like that. Would you guys like to see Jimmy come back and maybe race a Daytona 500 or one of the big races for the year?
Listen, man, when you are a 7-time champion, I think you are allowed to do whatever the hell you want. If you want to, if the opportunity is presented to you, I think you could be able to do whatever the hell you want until you're 100 years old. Yeah. I think it'd be cool.
I think Jimmy misses NASCAR too, to be honest with you. I think he's having a little rough start here to his, open wheel. Yeah. And I think I've been to IndyCar, and the experience is a lot different than when you go to a NASCAR race. And I think Jimmy's used to a certain way, and, seeing fans and going this and doing it a certain way. And I think he might miss a little bit of that, and that's why he's willing to dabble and come back towards the NASCAR world. And I would love to see him come back. Like Matt said, if Jeff Gordon ever wanted to come back, I like when Junior comes back, we all talk about ratings and stuff. So hey, come on back, if it's going to get, eyes on the TV, bring him back.
Absolutely. Especially, I would love to see it happen at a Darlington throwback race. I think that would be really cool.
It'd be amazing.
Oh, give him a nice, cool paint scheme or something. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Maybe run an old school Lowe's type scheme or something.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Atlanta Motor Speedway, as soon as they left the track, start tearing it up. Just want to give an update on that. You can check it all out, all the progress out on Instagram. And they're making really quick progress. They have all the banking up in the dirt and everything. It's got me kind of excited, and oh man, I wanted to argue it last week, and we took the week off. But you remember how we were talking about it's gonna be too narrow to race and all that stuff.
The format you're talking about, the format, how skinny,
just how the track isn't going to be as wide and everything. Apparently, the dimensions are basically the same width as Daytona, but there was another track. I don't even remember. I don't know why I brought it up. forget I said
I know.
anything.
No,
I
Matt,
know.
it said it was Martinsville. Didn't you say like it was kind of like a longer, like it kind of looks like a paperclip of shape?
No, that was
that's California Speedway.
That was
Oh,
Fontana.
Auto Club we're talking
Fontana,
about. Okay, yeah.
They're changing. Auto Club is changing. They just kind of released the blueprints. Was that a blueprint that you saw? Who released those, Whitey?
Yeah, Bob Progress put the blueprints up.
Okay, so they're legit if Bob sent them out then. Yeah, and so what that looks like is pretty much like the straightaways look like a long Martinsville.
Oh, you want to know what? That's what it was.
The embankments look like a Bristol, so it looks like a hybrid between Bristol and Martinsville. And I'll tell you what, if they can pull that off, that's going to be an amazing track.
It's almost
going to be fast.
Well,
yeah,
and you want, and when you look at it, it's almost like a very like narrow D shaped, because one is like that straight, and then there's like a little curve,
a little trio,
but it's very slight, and that's what it was. Sorry, that was in our text.
So it's kind of like how Phoenix has that little dog leg, but not too crazy, you know?
Yeah. Just slight, and then the banking is very similar to Dover.
Half mile, right? A half mile or 5/8 track.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a legit short track.
Yeah, half mile. Very exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing. I cannot wait for that. I love short tracks.
So if you want to check out some updates on those two tracks and the progress, you can check that out on Instagram on their pages. I always think that's pretty cool. Bristol did the same thing when they were putting the dirt down for the dirt race. They were showing like the crews working on it and doing some time-lapse videos. So if you want to check that out, just to see what they're working on, I think it's worth it. Check out Atlanta Motor Speedway's Instagram page. Let's see, Trackhouse Racing interested in running IndyCar, or at least an Indy 500. Justin Marks said he'd be interested in running an Indy 500. What do you guys think about that? An up-and-coming NASCAR team making huge moves and already looking into the future of maybe even crossing over to other motorsports.
If he can do it, why not? Who are we to say, no way? That's if they can financially, do that'd be cool. It'd be interesting to see who the driver would be. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I wonder.
I'm under the impression of, hey, like, you're new to NASCAR, you're trying to get, what do you want? Do you want to make money, or do you want to be a good team in NASCAR? And to me, when you start dipping into other little things, you're out there for the money rather than trying to build a team. So if you want to be a good team and a competitive team in NASCAR, take that money and put it into your team.
Yeah.
Put it into more resources and try to get better on Sundays in the sport that you're currently in. Hey, like you said, Matt, go for it. Good for you. But like, what is it going to get you? Like, what are you getting out of it? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think stick with NASCAR, try to get that team as good as it could be. Like, you see how, Suarez and that team, how quick they develop.
They're on the right
like
projection.
Right.
Yeah.
So imagine like say, oh yeah, we're going to focus on IndyCar now. We're going to no, come on.
Don't spread
derail
yourself too
something.
thin.
Yeah. Don't derail something that's going good.
Really, really good point.
Well, you want to know what though? Chip Ganassi keeping his IndyCar program, that was completely separate from that deal. Maybe they're working on something like, hey, we'll throw our name on a Ganassi car and run it for the 500 or something. Maybe get some cross promotion. But you want to know what? You make a good point. Don't spread yourself too thin, especially when you're a new team. That's how you dig yourself into a hole. You ever play a video game, like SimCity or something as a kid, where you have so much money and or The Sims, you could build something really cool, but then you don't have any money to eat. You gotta allocate those. You got to allocate
put the
those
garbage
funds.
cans out on Roller Coaster Tycoon. Everyone's throwing up all over your sidewalk.
Exactly. Oh, I can't finish this roller coaster because I spent all my money building concession stands. But yeah, it should be interesting either way what they do with it. Something else I'm really interested in. Our buddy Rick Ware, someone we love to talk about on the show, is looking to run 2 really strong cars. That's his quote. Next season, and looking to lease out 2 of his charters. So a lot of teams looking for charters right now. 2311's looking to add a second car. They need to find a charter.
Trackhouse.
Well, no, Trackhouse got their charter. They buy Ganassi.
Right.
They're solid. They're good.
Yep.
Who else was looking for a charter? Dale Jr.'s interested in a charter if he could get it for the right price. The Truck Series team. GMS.
Calling. Oh, GMS.
GMS is looking to get into NASCAR. They don't have a charter. I figured they might run open or something like that too. Colleague does have charters. They've leased the 2 Spire charters, so they're good to go for next year.
I've lost all track of charters, to be honest with you.
It's
still confusing to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially when people are just straight up buying ones that aren't for sale.
Right.
How are you supposed to keep up when people are just offered? I mean, good for the sport that people are, that makes the charter mean something, worth something, and it shows that people want to buy them and get into the sport. I thought about it the other day when we were talking about something in the text. We're like, would we go back to expand it to like a 40 car, hey, here's 40 charters. This is what it is, to just, instead of making people fight at the bottom, what I mean? For those, I don't know.
I think it's too late to do that though, because then you devalue the charters that are already in place. Like those guys bought those charters getting in on a ground floor kind of, and now they're reaping the benefits of having that charter because they could sell it or they could lease it. I would like to see 40 car fields if we could do it, and have more open teams. I mean, look at JTG Doherty. One of their cars has a charter, the other one doesn't. They're running open every week, and it's working out for them. I think we did mention it last week, though. There is a major price difference when it comes to how much you get paid for finishing in a race when you have a charter versus not having a charter. So it's very interesting. I wish we had more of a grasp on the outside, from the outside looking in, to see like how it really works. Because even when you listen to like industry insiders like Dave Moody on Sirius XM and stuff, like he really doesn't even know how a charter system works. Like he gets like the basics like we do. But when you ask him details, he's like, honestly, I don't know. They don't tell us that kind of stuff. The only people that do know are the people on the inside. So.
Well, I love when they're honest about that, like Moody and those guys, when there's a topic that like the fans are calling in and like starting rumor mills and they're getting upset about stuff and like they're voicing their opinion on it, and it's like it's all, you have no idea. And Moody's like, yeah, I don't either. Like I know just as much as you. So like almost like, why are you even bringing that up? Like, don't even speculate. Like, I don't even know. Like, what are you talking about?
Until
how are you
it's
supposed to know if I know?
We don't know,
Right.
Speaking of getting angry, though, something that's been getting a lot of fans angry for the last year or so is the number placement of the car. So they've teased it that they were going to move the car numbers backwards. Well, the rumor mill's swirling again, and it's officially unofficial. No official word, but it's pretty much official, according to Sports Business Journal, that they are going to move the numbers for the 2022 season. They're not going to slide them back, though. They're going to slide them forward. They're going to give more space on the back panel for the sponsors. And I looked at some renderings. I think it looks better moved forward than it does moved back. To be honest,
I like it.
Yeah,
I agree.
It. I don't hate it. I don't mind it. Yeah, I thought they look. And with the new car, like I said, I saw some renderings too.
Yeah.
And, people make awesome renderings online. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it's real or fake or render or not.
Sometimes they have better paint schemes than
I don't think it looks bad at all.
No, because like they've barely moved it forward. I think I understand people's frustrations with that.
Sharp though.
Yeah. I think
it allows the sponsors are going to love it too, because it allows them to do more with their decals on the side.
Yeah,
because they can run it from the middle of the door all the way back to the rear panel, the rear quarter.
So you kind of go over the tire and everything.
I don't care as long as they don't go to like smaller.
No,
like keep the same font size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And move, but like I would hate to see them go to that circle. The little circle, black circle, they have a little number in it. Like, I don't want that. Like, I know, like Volkswagen Bug, you see like a little circle. Yeah, I don't like that look.
No.
So hopefully, like, if they just keep the numbers the same size and moved, I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Almost like what Chase Briscoe ran in the '98 car in Xfinity last year. Is that what you're talking about? Where he had his number in the circle on the side of the car?
Well, like that's like a larger circle,
but smaller. But it's like significantly
they'll run
smaller.
it tiny and like right behind the wheel and stuff.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah. No.
Usually you'll see it in like vintage racing and stuff.
Right.
But I just thought that was interesting, and just the pictures do look a lot better than I think how they slid them back last year for the All-Star race. I hated that so much. Some of them look good. A lot of them did not. And I'm glad they're not going in that direction.
Well, it could come down to paint scheme too. Like sometimes that matters. Like the design of the scheme could either make that look like shit or make it look good. So
that's
I think
true.
it comes down to that.
And you want to know what? Number font's a big one too. Like some numbers, like I'll notice it in iRacing because you could choose your own font and stuff. And some numbers just look weak. Like the font of the number can look weak. Like that, you don't realize how much of a team's identity is just in the fonts. Like look at the number 5 on Hendrick Motorsports, like that tilted 5, like that. It's like such an iconic edges. Like that gives the team like an identity, you know?
Yep.
And I don't think a lot of people really appreciate it as much as they should. I tell you whose number I don't like, but I do appreciate their team. I don't like the 31 on Jordan Anderson's racing. I think that's a terrible font. But our buddy Daytona Ron's driver Eric Jones is going to be running the 31 for Jordan Anderson Racing this Saturday at Watkins Glen in the Xfinity Series. First time he's returning to the Xfinity Series since 2019. Are you excited for that, Eric?
You know what? I am. Anytime there's opportunity to get in the seat and behind the wheel of a race car, take that opportunity. And especially after being away for 2 weeks, what better timing than to, go out on Saturday before the big cup race and, get some hot laps in because, he used to be awesome, when he was in that 20 car in Xfinity. It was, you knew each week it was either going to be him or Kyle Busch was going to win that Xfinity race. Yeah. And, I think him not being in that car and Toyota bringing in Christopher Bell and these guys, I always envied Penske for one reason, that 22 car that Logano and Brad would always drive in the Xfinity. They would always be in that car.
Yeah.
Almost every week, either or are going down there and they're getting quality time in at these tracks, quality laps in. That helps. And to be a young driver, Eric Jones coming in, I think that hurt him in his first 4 years over there, not running as many Xfinity races as I would have liked him to. So hopefully 2-week break, coming back into the Xfinity car, shake the cobwebs off and, get all those, missed times of your braking zones, get them out of the way in the Xfinity and, come out strong for Sunday. And when he usually runs Xfinity, just like Christopher Bell, usually does pretty well on Sundays.
Yeah.
Worth putting him in your DraftKings lineup for Saturday. And I agree, definitely, especially since we're going back to a track we didn't go to last year at Watkins Glen. New York was pretty much shut down for the whole entire year. And dust off those cobwebs, make sure you figure it out. Of course, Xfinity and Cup, rules packages are different when it comes to like, you're not getting a whole lot of feedback on the car, but you're still getting those laps in, you're getting your braking zones and all that stuff.
And he also ran some slingers too over the last couple weeks here being off. So, he's, I could see him just like Alex Bowman getting back into a sprint and running some dirt races and, Chase Briscoe. I think more and more drivers, these young drivers coming up, these teams are allowing them to run these other races because, man, we're going to end up calling it the Larson model.
I was going to say that's the Kyle Larson effect right there.
Yeah, get behind the wheel of anything.
Yeah.
And keep those, like the reaction time, all of that matters. That's the skill set that people sometimes don't realize. Like, you could get behind a car and drive it. Yes. But like
to get behind anything and be able to stay sharp.
But your hand-eye coordination, your reaction time, like those little skills that if you let that slip a little bit, it's like shooting a gun. If you don't shoot every day, if you don't run every day, you're not going to be able to do that, mile in whatever time you want. You have to do it consistent. And man, that Larson model, I think a lot more drivers you're seeing get down into those sprint cars and modifieds and just trying to get laps in anywhere they can.
And I think a lot of team owners have taken notice of that too, where in the past they're like, no, we don't want you going out racing something on the weekends. Like Sundays is your job,
Hendrick was the biggest proponent of that. And now look at him, he's letting all his guys do it.
He wouldn't let Casey Kane. Like Casey Kane really put up a fight with Hendrick to try to let him run, some of those dirt races and stuff.
But at
I
the
think
same
that's going to be the new way.
At the same time, I understand his position as an owner, though. You gotta take care of your driver, make sure that they don't get injured doing something.
He told them because obviously when he signed on Larson this past off season, Larson obviously said like I gotta continue, I have to continue driving these sprint cars and modifieds and all that. I have contracts that I have to fulfill. And then Chase was like, well, what about me? Like, if you're letting him race, I want to race.
I want to race my modified.
And then Bowman's like, hey, I'm doing it too.
Yep. And then Mr. H pretty much said, like, okay, fine, you guys can do it, but if you get hurt out there, it's on your dollar, not mine.
Oh yeah.
So that's where he was able to meet them kind of in the middle.
And those guys are going to take that deal in a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Because you want to what? When it comes down to it, racers want to race no matter what they're in, Yep.
And that's a reason too, when people say, oh, like, he let that guy win, or he, he gave that race away, or
it's bullshit. It doesn't happen.
It's bullshit, because when every one of those drivers behind the wheel of that car, they want to win.
Yeah.
Racers want to win. So that's why it's hard to say that someone threw a race, to me at least.
Especially when for a lot of those guys, losing it feels worse than winning feels good. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That's how Kyle Busch's reaction. That's why everyone gets mad at him. He comes in second and he's devastated, pissed off beyond belief.
Mm-hmm. You might as well come in at last at that point.
Yep.
Speaking of 31 and Jordan Anderson Racing, I thought it was pretty cool. For the Indy Road Course in 2 weeks, Sage Karam, I think I'm saying that right. He is an IndyCar driver. He actually finished 7th in the Indy 500 this year. He's going to be running a Montage Mountain car. Now, if you're not from the area where we are, Montage Mountain is a local ski resort in Scranton here. So
very local.
Yeah. Like
10 minutes away from where we live.
And so I thought, like, I saw the press release. I'm like, oh, cool. They're doing it at Watkins Glen because it's kind of close. Kind of makes sense. Like, no, they're going to Indianapolis and they're running a Montage Mountain ski resort car, which I thought that was pretty cool. And he's also kind of a local guy. He's from Nazareth, Pennsylvania. So wishing Sage good luck in his Xfinity Series debut with Jordan Anderson Racing. And so far, that's all we have for news. It was not a super busy news day or news week or weeks, but some interesting stories in between, I thought.
Absolutely.
And now, usually this is the point where we talk about last week's race. Well, we already did that 2 weeks ago in New Hampshire. So I figured let's
not rehash New Hampshire.
Let's not rehash New Hampshire.
Yeah, let's not go down that road again.
I figured, we're in the middle of the season. Silly season is heating up. There have been a lot of moves. We talked about them, but we never really got too far in depth with the silly season moves. So I figured I would read off a couple and we would give them a grades. What do you think? Maybe grade it from the driver's perspective, maybe grade it from the team owner's perspective. I don't know. You could do whatever you want. I didn't even, honestly, I didn't give them my own grades yet. So I'm going to be going off the fly with these. But the first one, big one we knew about last year and still it made us upset. Matt DiBenedetto is out of the 21 car. Where will he go? Harrison Burton's going to be replacing him. So what do you guys think? What would you give the grade of Harrison Burton coming in and Matty DiBenedetto moving out?
So just like the race grades, except for New Hampshire, I kept my emotion out of all of these, and we're going to grade them just like a race. So I gave this, because we are all open, or I guess, a kind of closet Matty D fans. I like I said, I wanted to keep my emotions out of it.
For him, but I want to think like, oh, as a team move, what's better?
Right. And I love the Burton family, so it's a wash either way you put it as far as emotions goes. But I gave this move a C, and here's
his daddy's
why.
car right here. I love the singular logo.
I think he was a Hall of Fame driver, and he's a Hall of Fame broadcaster, in my opinion, Jeff Burton. Anyway, I gave the move a C, and here's why. Harrison Burton's going to be a great talent. He's already shown signs of it. Just like his father, just great overall talent. But I think he could have benefited from just one more year in Xfinity. He won 4 races last year. He has yet to win a race this year.
Yeah.
His average finish is 13.5 in the Xfinity series. And I just think he could have benefited from one more year. With that being said, with the new car debuting next year, it's kind of an even playing ground. When you get your opportunity at a top organization in the Cup level, you can't say no to it. So there's no blame there. But I think it was a C only because I think Harrison could have benefited from one more year in Xfinity.
Okay, I respect that. I have a different opinion, and I'll get into it. But Eric, what were you thinking on the Harrison Burton move?
I gave it a C because I would take either one of those drivers. Don't get me wrong. I think they're both good NASCAR drivers. But normally the only thing here is the age, and that's where they're going with. They want a younger talent to go along with what social media and what these sponsors and, where the sport is going. I could see that why they're going younger with Harrison Burton. Like Matt pointed out, won those 4 races this year, didn't win yet, 13th, average finish. Like, he's not the guy down there. He's not the Austin Cindric of the world who's, dominating every week.
He's not Chase Briscoe last year.
Yeah. So like, you're not one of those guys. I'm not kicking Matty D out of that seat for him.
Yeah.
The young, I could see that they want to get younger. But to the other point, Matty D, I felt bad for him. I do feel bad for him, but he kind of got ahead of this in a way.
Yeah.
And, kind of rode that when in the beginning, he knew that he wasn't coming back. Yeah. You know what I mean? And knowing that he didn't do enough, you know what I mean? Like, he did not do enough to stay in the ride. So I can't blame them for looking elsewhere either. But I just think overall, just a C. You didn't get better. You didn't get worse. Yeah. And you just screwed over a very good person.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I was. It was almost like a C. Like, I looked at it like a C is an average grade. It was an average. Yep. It was just a wash kind of in my mind.
It is what it is, kind of a move. Yeah.
Right. Whitey, you said you were gonna change our opinion.
I'm curious.
I don't know if I'll change your opinion, but I'm gonna give it an A. I think it is an A move, and I'll tell you why. So yes, Harrison Burton, I do think he could use another year to develop. Like you said, he does have 4 wins though in his career. He's only been racing full time for a couple of years in the Xfinity Series race, and we got a kitty on the pod. Was that a Gus? Is that Gus?
That's Luna.
That's Luna. Hey, Luna. No, I do agree. He is very young to move up. He could use another years of experience, but like Eric said, the next gen car, I think that's going to be the even playing field where everyone's going to have their growing pains with it. Usually you see what happens with rookies. They'll come up, they'll have trouble adjusting to the Cup car. Everyone's going to be adjusting.
Okay. Everyone's going here. I can see it.
Everyone's going to be adjusting to the new next gen car. Like,
he won't have those old habits that the veterans are going to have to kick.
Oh yeah. I mean, and you have to think, like, just the way this car is going to run. It's more of a sports car style. It's got that independent rear suspension. Harris Burton, he's run some IMSA races. A lot of those young guys have run some IMSA races, probably in cars that are more similar than the Cup cars are now. Sequential gearbox. I'm sure some guys will have to adjust to that. Just little tiny things that might hinder some of the veterans.
Like I said,
when it comes,
that skill set, like that hand-eye coordination, the reaction time stuff. Yeah. When you're younger, when you're, in your 20s,
it's
early
easier
20s,
to pick up new things.
It's easier to pick up. It's easier to learn things. It's easier to adjust. And like to what Matt said, those weird old habits that they might have in the old stock car is going to be different. And they're going to be on the same field as a bunch of 20-year-olds. I'll put my money on the 20-year-olds getting better at that car and figuring the car out quicker, way earlier than the veterans will. But
again, we'll see. There's a whole lot of unknowns. They're still doing testing. They just did testing in Texas the other day. So, like, who knows really what's going to happen? I think from that perspective, I think it's a good move. Plus, you have Matt DiBenedetto. Nothing against Matt DiBenedetto. I love him. I have a Matt DiBenedetto t-shirt. I wear it on Saturdays sometimes. I think he's a great person. But he hasn't shown. He hasn't shown it on track. He's had 2 years in that Wood Brothers car, and people say like, "Oh, they've only had 2 wins in the last 10 years." I get it, but these Wood Brothers cars with Penske affiliations are stronger Wood Brothers cars than they've had in the last 10 years.
And he's had good finishes. He's been there, but the consistency not there. I know. I think it was a little too late with that crew chief change.
I think it definitely was.
He alluded to that too.
5-6 weeks earlier, it could have changed everything. If they got a win, okay. I'll pose this question: if Matty D did get a win this year, is he still gone? I think so.
I think he's still gone too. Yeah.
I think in his head, even if he won, he thought that was going to lock him in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I think they already made their mind up, and he was gone no matter what. So he's trying to do something that was never going to come in his favor, and that sucks.
I think the only thing, if he won a race, maybe he'd be looking at going somewhere else. Maybe he'd be considered for Trackhouse. Maybe he would be considered for the GMS rides or something like that. I don't even think those are on the table for Matty D at this point. I think his best bet is to go to the Xfinity Series, which it seems like he doesn't want to do. And I think he's going to get in his own way because of it. If you're not willing to take a pay cut and he goes, I'm a Cup Series driver, I deserve to be in the Cup Series. Well, maybe you do, but you want to, if the opportunities aren't there, you want to keep driving, you do whatever you can. And I'd rather go down the Xfinity Series and try to win some races.
A true racer would want to just go racing, and I'll allude back to John Hunter Nemechek. He wants to run up front and win races because he's a racer. Yeah. And hey, Matty D, you want to, race? Hey, go down there, dominate there, and get a top tier ride to where you'll have a better advantage in a Cup car. So, it sucks, but what it is.
It is. I agree. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think Matty D's personality makes us not like it as much. But I think it's a solid move for the Wood brothers. They're looking 10 years down the line. They're not looking 2 years down the line.
Right. Which I can get that as well.
All right. We kind of alluded to it earlier. We said Kurt Busch. There's a lot of rumors swirling around Kurt Busch. Chip Ganassi Racing is going to cease to exist at the end of 2021. He brings Monster sponsorship with him wherever he goes, and speculate, and it's pretty much a done deal. Basically, he's going to drive the second 2311 car as long as they can secure a charter. What do you guys?
I'm actually surprised we didn't hear about it this week at some point. I thought, and it might be a next week's news thing, but I think that news is coming sooner than later.
I think so, especially with Rick Ware saying he's looking to lease 2 charters. I would assume Denny's gonna lease one of those from him. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about them going with a veteran driver like Kurt Busch, the second 2311 car? What would you give that as a grade?
I once again, I think that's a D. I think that's them holding on, just like in football. That's when you sign a free agent, a veteran. You think he's going to come in to turn your team around, but he's on the back end of his career. He ends up getting hurt. You paid him a lot of money. He doesn't do jack shit, and you just wasted a year and a bunch of money on somebody. I think that's, they felt bad. It's like a little bit of a retirement tour thing for him. I think hey, we'll bring him on. We'll sign him. He's a veteran. Maybe he can help out the program.
I don't even know if it's a retirement thing. I think it's just he brings sponsorship with him, and he's good for 1 win a season.
Yeah, I just think too, along the lines of what we were just talking about. If I'm them, I put Matty D and Bubba Wallace together as teammates and see if they click together. You have younger talent there. What are you going to do? You're going to have to get a new driver in there in a year or two, because Kurt Busch, he's not going to stay in it longer than that. I just think they're looking short term to win a race to get going a little bit. I understand that aspect, but every team is going long term right now, and they're kind of playing it in a different way, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. They're doing a little opposite of what other teams are doing. Instead of going younger, they're signing a veteran and maybe going that route to help Bubba.
Yeah.
But I just, I don't like it. I really don't. Nothing against Kurt Busch. Nothing against Kurt Busch, but it's just, I think that team could have done better as far as finding a different driver.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think that maybe Kurt Busch is just a placeholder until Denny can move over and drive for his own team? Do you think Denny will ever drive for his own team?
It's possible. I mean, you can never say never in this sport, right? I mean,
look at Brad. Maybe they go Brad's route, and Denny wants to go that way, just like how Kyle Busch has his Xfinity team and his truck team, and Brad. Maybe that's the way they go.
Yeah, you never know. I actually kind of went a little opposite. I mean, Eric made a lot of really good points, and he actually changed. I actually wrote down an A+ for that, for literally only because I think Bubba Wallace is going to only benefit from having a
Right.
future Hall of Fame, teammate, somebody who could shake down a car and somebody who can really help him along as to what he should be looking for, how he should find speed, things like that. In that aspect alone, I would have given it an A+, but you're right, Eric. I mean, bringing someone in who's going to be there for a year or two, hell, it was just a couple weeks ago, I thought he was going to retire after this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would say I think it would be a B move for me. I mean, it's going to help Bubba, or it should help Bubba.
Right. I think this is a Hail Mary. We're putting all the chips in Bubba's basket to try to help him. They don't want to, like, Kurt's not going to take the spotlight away from Bubba. You know, I think they're bringing Kurt in, help Bubba, gain Bubba's spotlight, gain his, average finish from 21 to the top 15 every week, and gain him. And, Kurt Busch isn't going to take away from the publicity and the PR or anything like that. So, like, if you get someone else younger in there and they start performing better than Bubba, I don't think they want that. Then it looks bad. I think they want Bubba to be the star over there. And Kurt, bringing Kurt, that does make it a good move then, if that's the case.
I'm gonna split the difference and split the butt cheeks and go right in between. Give it a C. I think it's a C move. I see both your perspectives of it. No, seriously, I think Bubba could benefit from a veteran in the garage. But I could see them wanting a younger talent for down the road too. I mean, Bubba's young too. But yeah, I mean, that seems to be where the sport's going. Honestly, I think Kurt might be a seat warmer until Denny's contract runs over at Gibbs, and then he moves over to his own team. Because guess what? Ty Gibbs is going to need a spot in a couple years. And you want to what? A lot of Gibbs right now is getting towards that older end of the spectrum. I mean, Martin Truex Jr. re-signed for next year, but he said as soon as it's not fun anymore, he's done too. So I mean, he's won his championships. He's happy with his career. So I think maybe we'll see something like that happen with Denny. I will say though, and I've been thinking about it for a long time with 23XI. Obviously, Bubba's not performing to what Michael Jordan hyped him up to be. I mean, Michael Jordan said they were going to win 2 races this, and so far he hasn't even been in contention. But it makes me wonder too the personnel over there, and Mike Wheeler specifically. We were just talking about Matt DiBenedetto. When Matt DiBenedetto was in the 95 car, his crew chief was Mike Wheeler, and they did not have the performance that they wanted. And honestly, I think Mike Wheeler is there because Denny's doing him a favor. Because if you know the history of Mike Wheeler, he was on Denny's crew. He was like a car chief for a long time. He was his crew chief for maybe 2 years, something like that. And then when he got rid of him, Denny said, like, don't worry, you'll be like I'll take care of you in the future. Something along those lines. So I think honestly he's just doing his buddy a favor. And I don't think that's doing the team any favor, really.
Right.
That's just my own personal opinion. I don't know.
And you know what? That happens. Sure, just in other sports too. If a coach, if you become a coach's favorite, don't play a guy because they like him, not necessarily because he's the best player put out on the field or in a race car. And that could hurt a team sometimes when a coach can't tell a guy who they've developed a relationship with, you're not as good as this guy and you're not starting. This guy is now. Some coaches can't do that. They can't get away from that personal relationship that they developed. And you're right, Whitey, it does hurt the team. I would say almost all the time when you have that. Sometimes, it sucks and, those decisions hurt. But with the Matty D situation, it is what it is and we're moving on. And sometimes you have to just go that route.
Yeah.
No, and you want to what? I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at Levine Family Racing as because that's my example for why I don't think Mike Wheeler is too great of a crew chief, because in 2019, him and Matt DiBenedetto did not do well. 2020, he got promoted to the competition director for the whole team. And in 2021, they folded. He moved over to 23XI. So maybe
he seems to be the rotten egg over there.
But you want to what? At the same time, too, though, you look at Bubba's performance in Richard Petty Motorsports versus Eric Jones. And they seem to be about the same, honestly, in those cars.
Average finish is 20, 21.
Yeah.
And that's right where they were.
So who knows? It could be a combination of driver. It could be a combination of crew chief or the both. But like to me, I feel like there's something else going on over at 2311. So maybe that would be the litmus test. You have Kurt Busch go over there and really show what the equipment could do on a week-to-week basis. And you kind of figure out what's the problem. Is it the driver or is it the crew chief? I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to give it a C move. Brad Keselowski, the big newsmaker over the last 2 weeks. He's going to be becoming a partial owner of Roush Fenway Racing. No words on a new name. Ryan Newman out of the 6. Brad Keselowski taking over that iconic number 6 for Roush. And Austin Cindric going to be replacing Brad in the number 2 car. What do you grade Austin Cindric going to the 2 car? Because originally he was supposed to go to the Wood Brothers car. And what do you guys grade Brad Keselowski moving over to the number 6?
So I think for me, and I'll just speak for my end of it, I think there's only one grade you can give Austin Cindric getting into that 2 car, and that's an A+.
Absolutely.
We just talked about Harrison Burton. We just talked about Harrison Burton maybe needs another year, which I think is just completely fair criticism.
Yeah, he's a young driver.
I think Austin Cindric's ready to go right now, not next year, not next week, right now. I think he's ready to go in the Cup Series. He's got 4 wins this year. He's got 12 total in the past 3 years in Xfinity. I think,
he's an Xfinity Series champion.
Much to my chagrin of Penske Racing, I think this is a home run for them. Mm-hmm. And I've got a little bit of breaking news in the Reilly household as well. My wife, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Her allegiance is not to Brad Keselowski. It's to that number 2.
The Penske number 2. Okay.
Was
she a Rusty Wallace fan as a child?
That's bingo. Nailed it. So she's already said she's signed on to she's already signed up for the Austin Cindric train. So before he takes his first official laps as a Penske driver in the Cup side, just wanted to get that out there. But
I like that. I respect it.
So now here's the thing: does that ease tension between you and Team Penske, or does that ease tension between you and Brad Keselowski?
Both. Yes to both.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one more move. There's one more person that Team Penske needs to get rid of in order for me to be fully won over. We won't get into that. And I think you guys all know, listeners, you two, I think everyone knows what I'm talking about there. But I like Austin Cindric. He seems like he's a good kid all around.
Yeah, they got to get Ryan Blaney out of that 12 car.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. A lot of people say nepotism because his dad, is a major figurehead at Penske. I don't believe in that for a second.
I'm sick of that argument. The
kid's got all the talent in the world, just like
just like Ty Gibbs,
And Ty, yeah. If you got the talent, you got the talent. Doesn't matter who your dad is or your mom is, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. So
their money goes a long way when it comes to equipment, but like there's guys in that same equipment too. And if they're not winning a race and you're winning a race, you're the guy,
Yeah. And then just
Austin
to wrap
backs it up. He backs it up. He walk the walk, you talk the talk, and he's doing it. So I don't care how much money you have. If you could perform in that car, you deserve it.
1,000%. And then I'll let you guys chime in on this. I'll just say the Brad Keselowski taking over Newman's car, that's also an A+ home run because nothing against Newman at all. But I mean, I don't think there's any denying the fact that right now Brad Keselowski is a much better driver, and it's an improvement over what Newman's been able to do this year in the 6 car. So I would also give that an A+.
Yeah. How about you, Eric? What do you think? You agree with that?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I agree. A+. Cindric going there. You hinted to the fact of, Penske isn't going to suck as much, No. And for me, I think we've hinted on it too. Like Brad, he kind of has been growing on us all, and not the same person he was. And now that I see him and Logano's relationship, we now know that it wasn't that great, and he wasn't. It kind of, my feelings for Brad have changed. So like now that he's completely out of Penske, and Austin Cindric going there, who's great, have no problems with him. It almost makes the move just better, just in general, for me to watch the sport of NASCAR on a Sunday. Brad, I hated him because of Penske, but now that he's going there, I almost am rooting for him now. It's almost that like I want to see him do well. I think he is going to do well, and I think Austin's going to do well. I think him and Blaney are going to have a good relationship there. But the key factor, and I don't think he's going anywhere, is Logano. I think he's going to be there. He is a golden boy.
Yeah.
And whether or not they could all mesh and work well, when y'all know certain races you need to work as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Are they all going to get along?
Those super speedways, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys. A+ all around, and like you alluded to, we've been coming around Brad Keselowski. I'm going to make a confession.
Oh no.
I'm going to make a, maybe I'll drop a little bombshell. I've always kind of liked Brad Keselowski.
Okay.
So I haven't watched as long as you guys have. I never saw him when he was really rubbing people the wrong way. And there's a guy I worked with at the radio station. His name is Jake Heller. You might hear his name shouted out on the Dale Jr. Podcast every now and then. He asks tons of questions. And he gets read at least once a month. Blows my mind how his
on the Ask Junior portion?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Okay.
But he's a huge Brad Keselowski fan. He was a big Junior fan. When Junior retired, he went over to the Penske dark side, and he liked Brad. So because I was good friends with him, I always wanted Brad to do well because it made him happy. I'll admit, Brad will scum a win all the time. He did it at Talladega this year. Still pisses me off. But I can appreciate Brad Keselowski, and I do like the move over to Roush. I think if any driver was to move over there for the betterment of the future of an organization, I think it's Brad Keselowski. I think he's thinking major big picture, next 20 years. I think Jack Roush doesn't like to spend a lot of money. Mark Martin has said so in his podcast for a long time that that was kind of the downfall of their two relationships. And I think Brad Keselowski is going to be able to get the right sponsorships, get the money into the cars they need, get the people over there that they need. I mean, he's got his aerospace engineering program and stuff. I'm sure he's got a lot of great engineers that could move over to the NASCAR side. I think all around, it's a great move for Brad Keselowski and that team. Will it pay off right away next year in 2022? I don't think so. Will it pay off in the next 5 years? I absolutely think it will. And I think you're right. Austin Cindric, he's proved himself in the Xfinity Series. He probably should have moved up to the Cup Series this year with Chase Briscoe. And I think just staying that one extra year in the Xfinity Series has just done him even better.
He's going to win another Xfinity Series championship.
He is. And you want to know what? I'm usually one that'll say pump your brakes on rookies. A lot of people thought Chase Briscoe was going to win a bunch of races this year. Usually I say pump your brakes. I think Austin Cindric has a really good shot of winning a road course race in his first year as a Cup Series rookie. And you want to know what? He would deserve it too. So I think A+ is all around. The 42 Ross Chastain, Chip Ganassi Racing also ceasing to exist at the end of the season. He's apparently the #1 candidate for the second Trackhouse racing car. What do you guys think about that move or lack of movement?
I mean, with Ross, I think he's another one of those guys just like Matty D. I think he's got the talent. I think if he's in the right scenario, he's got the ambition, he's got the drive that I would like in a driver if I'm a team owner. He wants to win so bad. And you could tell that with those certain guys. And, you know, your heart breaks for those guys that want to win and they just keep getting the carpet pulled out from underneath them. And, you know,
he got a raw deal with that DC Solar thing with Ganassi years ago in the Xfinity Series. And
I don't know, with the way Trackhouse is performing, I like it.
Yeah.
That's if they continue that performance with this new next gen car. I think some of these smaller teams and with teams not really investing in this season in the car, I think it shook up the performances a little bit and like why teams are doing a little bit better here and there.
Yeah.
But if he goes there and they still perform well, I think it's a good move. But I would love to see, you know, him go down to Xfinity as well. Like him, De Benedetto, like they could honestly make that series just so much better. You know, but at this point in time, if I get offered a Cup ride, I'm taking it. You know what I mean? And especially with how well Suarez has been running, it to me, you hop on board and hopefully it continues.
And Ross has been running really well ever since Hendrick started giving them good motors.
And you know what?
So
I didn't like at first some of the races he got super aggressive and made some dumb Ricky Stenhouse type aggressive moves early in races. And it's like, dude, come on, I understand you want to win. You know, you're basically, this is an audition.
Yeah, but he did make some wisely.
Yeah, he did make some stupid bonehead moves here and there. But I think he's just another Matty D situation where at some point in time, everybody's going to be cup driver quality. There's not going to be enough rides at the top tier, and someone's going to get booted and screwed. And if you're even on that bubble, if we're like right now, we're talking about that. Go to Xfinity.
Yeah.
If you're struggling to find a ride in the cup and you're going to these bottom tiers and scratch for charters and leasing this, and go to Xfinity, seal it right up there and win. Come, you know what I mean?
But I don't think Ross Chastain has any problem doing that. We saw him do it in 2019 with the Truck Series where he went and
right. Like if he gets that opportunity,
he's going to do it.
You know?
So, I don't have much to add to that. I know we have a lot more to get to, so I'll keep mine short. I gave it a C. I think he's a talented driver. He has all the talent in the world. I think he still has a lot to prove. He's been inconsistent this year. He's had really good runs as of late.
Yeah.
But earlier in the year, he didn't. So I just still think that the jury is still out on Ross Chastain big time. So that's all I have.
So the rest of my list is, those are all the people actually moving, possibly. This is just either unknown statuses or they've signed contract extensions. Right now, Ryan Newman, unknown status. They said it's possibly they might do something part-time with Roush. Do you think he retires at the end of the year? I don't know.
I think he's done.
I think it's entirely possible that he retires.
I think retire, do your rescue ranch thing with your ex-wife or current wife. I don't know if they got back together after that accident. I know they were on the splits, but they were still working together on their charity and stuff. Do your charity thing. Go hunting with Martin Truex Jr. on the weekdays. You know, have some fun. You deserve it. Hang out with your kids. You almost died last year or 2 years ago. Martin Truex Jr. signed a contract extension for 2022. Rumored all Gibbs drivers have contract extensions. So Gibbs all buttoned up there. Nothing really to talk about. Alex Bowman also signed a 2-year extension with Hendrick. That's his longest contract to date with any team. So big congratulations to Alex Bowman. Kyle Larson also signed a 2-year deal with Hendrick. So those two not going anywhere else. I think Willie B is signed up until next year regardless. And I don't see Chase Elliott going anywhere anytime soon. The unknowns, the number 3, Austin Dillon, contract ends in 2021. I don't think Austin's going to hang up his racing boots anytime soon. And I guarantee he has a ride in the number 3 car as long as he wants it. Eric Almirola contract ends in 2021. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, Smithfield is a very loyal sponsor to Eric Almirola. He did just get his win this season. He's going to the playoffs. I'm sure Stuart Haas will sign an extension. What do you think, Matt?
Real quick. So every once in a while on the weekends, we'll make our own breakfast.
Yeah.
And so Saturday morning before we came in for the family party that I talked about earlier, we made our breakfast to kind of move things along.
Yeah.
I got bacon for my breakfast sandwich that I made, and I went with Jimmy Dean and not Smithfield. And I purposely did it because of the New Hampshire debacle.
Okay.
I just wanted to get that out.
You want to what? I completely respect it. I completely understand. 17 of Chris Buescher's contract ends in 2021. According to the press conference with Brad Keselowski, though, they're looking to keep him for the team for at least 3 more years. So I don't think he's going to move anywhere soon. I think it'll just be time to button things up. Michael McDowell is on a year-to-year contract, expected to stay with Front Row Motorsports. So, I mean, who knows? He probably could have moved up to a better team this year after winning Daytona 500 and into the playoffs. He likes hanging out in the back of the pack with the Front Row Motorsports crew. Him and Anthony Alfredo will be hanging out together. Ryan Preece, lack of a charter, has team up in the air. Don't know what's going to happen with him. Eric Jones, still working on a deal with RPM, says he would like to stay with Richard Petty Motorsports and keep building. Eric, what do you think about that? Just because that's your driver, would you like him to?
Yeah, I think a deal's going to come out pretty soon too with that. They've been in talks for a while now.
Yeah. There's
And
no better option out there. Eric Jones is an elite driver,
right. And like they have he drove that car, to what everyone else that was in that car could have done. He improved it a little bit from where Bubba's numbers were, consistency wise.
Yeah.
But they're really going all in with him. I think I think they're doing like other little things off to the side, and like there's
they do
letting
a lot
him
of great
race
social media stuff too.
Yeah. So like I think they're putting all of their chips in the basket with Eric, and hopefully they get something done and they continue to grow that, because if they don't change the way they're doing things there, I don't want them to go back.
No.
But I think the route that they're going is a good one, and they need to start putting money into that team again, and I think Richard Petty knows that.
There's a little light at the end of the tunnel there, and I feel like Eric Jones is that light. My only problem with RPM, and it's the same problem I have with Roush Fenway, is Richard Petty Motorsports is co-owned by like an investment banker firm.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think that's why they don't get a lot of money. Like they're in it just to make as little, like as much profit as they can and put as little money into it. And I think that's really what's making that team suffer. But who knows? Maybe Eric Jones could pull some sponsorships in for himself. That's the big thing. That's what you need. You need to get your own sponsor that'll go with you from wherever, like from card team to card team. That's how you keep moving up in the sport. And hopefully Eric Jones could pull something off like that. I like seeing what he's been doing over this past year over there. I think things are looking good for the next gen car with them. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has a multi-year deal starting in 2020. Not sure when that ends, but he's been doing pretty good for JTG Doherty. I feel like he's been performing better than he performed over at Roush.
I agree.
And that's basically all we really have for silly season so far. And I figure, we're running out of time. But we missed last week, so we could go a little long this week. I wanted to go through the playoffs and do a little playoff bracket. And I figure we'll go driver by driver, and we'll tell you when we think they'll drop out of the playoffs. And Matt added Reddick, Harvick, and Denny Hamlin. And I was just going to do who was already locked in, but I put those guys into. That's the playoff picture right now as it stands. It can change over the next 4 races. We have no idea. This is
we're just doing it based off of where we are right now.
So if things change, don't put it too hard on us. I have a feeling that the final 8 and the final 4 are going to be near there anyways. But this is just going to be where we think the drivers are going to be. So let's start out in the beginning with Michael McDowell, the winner of the Daytona 500. What round do you think he will last in? Do you think he gets knocked out in the first round?
Yeah.
I also have him going out in the first round. Yep.
All right. I also do. Christopher Bell, he won the Daytona road course race, and he's been pretty good ever since. He's been running really consistent this year. But do you think he makes it out of round 16? Does he make it to the round of 12?
I do too. Yeah. He's running hot. I think he makes it definitely to the round of 12.
I think he's going to have some bad luck, and something's going to happen that he does not make it out of the round of 16. All right. What about William Byron? How far do you think he goes into the playoffs this year?
When I was doing my brackets, this was the one I had a really hard time doing. I don't know why. I have a feeling Willie B is not going to make it out of that first round.
So you're swapping Bell for William Byron, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I have McDowell and Byron, and we'll get to the other 2 that I have getting eliminated out of the first round as well.
See, I have him coming out in round 12. Maybe that's how we should do it. Let's just do our round 16. Who's going to get eliminated for round 16?
Right. We'll just say who we think the bottom 4 is going to get eliminated.
So in round 16, I alluded to 2 of them. I have Michael McDowell getting knocked out and William Byron getting knocked out. I also have Kurt Busch getting knocked out and Eric Almirola getting knocked out.
Yeah. How about you, Eric? Who gets knocked out in your round of 16?
I have McDowell going out, Almirola going out. Like that.
That's
you
one
can
and
always
2.
tell the guys that's 1 and 2. I don't think Kurt Busch, I know he got that win, but like we said, always gets that one win. I don't think Kurt Busch makes it out. And, as of, I almost had Seabell out too, because I just feel like so up and down. But I think Blaney's going to have some issues. And as consistent as he's been, I don't think Blaney's going to make it. Like, no one really talks about him, and he might squeak all the way through, probably because I think he's going to go out. But I think one driver that is unexpected
is going to make it through.
Has some trouble. Yeah. Right. So I don't think Blaney makes it through.
You look at Harvick last year, who didn't make it to the round of 4. Everyone thought he was going to be a lock. Okay. I could see that. I went obviously McDowell and Eric Almirola. I put Christopher Bell out in the round of 16, and it really kills me to say, but I think if my guy Tyler Reddick makes it, he's not making it out of the round of 16. That was mine. All right, Matt, how about your round of 12? Who gets knocked out in the round of 12?
So here's where we start getting down in the nitty gritty. I have your boy making it to the round of 12, but leaving after that. So Tyler Reddick gets knocked out. Christopher Bell gets knocked out. Alex Bowman gets knocked out. And then, guys, he hasn't won yet. He's underperformed. Kevin Harvick gets knocked out of the round of 12.
Yep. So mine, I have Harvick, same. He's done. He's out.
I also have him.
Seabell, he's gone after this one. Sorry, Whitey. Your boy makes it. Reddick. I think he's going to perform in that first. He's aggressive. He wants to get there. I think
if he makes it into the playoffs. If he makes it in.
Right.
Who knows?
But those pressure situations, I think he steps up just like he has in this final stretch.
It wasn't even a knock on him. I just think everyone else is so strong.
Good. It was really tough, to be honest with you. I actually, at one point, I had like Denny. I'll get into it later on. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but okay. Sorry to cut you off, Eric. Was there someone else after Reddick?
My last one was Brad Keselowski, because he just is having terrible year. He doesn't make it out, so Brad's done. Yeah.
All right, so I went William Byron. I think he's going to have one good round, like one good race in the first round that's going to float him into the round of 12. Then he's going to get knocked out. I think that Kurt Busch is also going to have a good Darlington race that's going to keep him floating on until the round of 12 where he gets knocked out. I put Kevin Harvick in the round of 12 getting knocked out. I really don't see him unless he catches fire. And then I put Alex Bowman. I was thinking Alex Bowman could be one of those dark horse guys who gets to the round of 8, but he's so up and down inconsistent that I said I figure he's going to have a rough one and get knocked out in the round of 12. But I'm looking at him for the Roval, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's my round of 12 is Byron, Bowman, Busch, Kurt, and Kevin Harvick. A lot of B's.
So we're in the round of 8, which leaves for me Larson, Martin Truex Jr., Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Logano, Blaney, Keselowski, and Kyle Busch. And out of those 8, we got to eliminate half of them. I'm knocking out Logano, knocking out Blaney, knocking out Keselowski. So Team Penske, we'll see you later. And then this fourth one was tough.
Yeah,
you got to pick one of those guys. And I went with Kyle Busch getting knocked out. Just and once again, not anything against Kyle Busch. I just think Larson, MTJ, Hamlin, and Chase are going. There's 3 tracks right there that any one of those 4 can win at.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with those 4 to advance on to the final 4.
All right. How about you, Eric? What's your round of 8?
So my round of 8, who I'm going to get rid of, and basically who my final 4, is essentially going to be, Joey's gone. He's done. I agree. Penske, I don't want them in there.
Yeah.
My shock I think Chase Elliott is going to be done. I think not him. I think his pit crew, something on pit road is going to fuck him up.
Yeah.
And I just think he's going to get the shit end of the stick. And just the way that Hendricks has been going, I think he's going to be the first one done. So my final 4, I have Kyle Busch after this last 2 weeks, Kyle Busch is making the final
Locked
four. I think he's
in.
going
I
to come
know.
back.
I
got to lock him in. He's on the, I don't give a shit about NASCAR and what you say. I'm living and driving the way I want to do it, and it's the Kyle Busch way. Got to put Kyle Busch in there.
KFB.
I think Alex Bowman. I think he just is going to creep his way through.
Wow, you have
Bowman to the final four.
I have Bowman to the final four. I have Larson and Denny.
Okay. You know, I could see it. I could see it happening. I think Larson and Bowman have been the two that were performing and getting wins. Yeah.
When they need wins, they're getting them. And like
Bowman's got three quiet wins.
Yeah, right. And like the issues that Bowman had, it was like not because he had a bad race. Something went wrong and screwed him. So
like something on pit road, something like that.
Yeah.
It was a toss up for either eliminating Kyle Busch or Chase for me. And then just the reason why I went with Chase is honestly, it's not a bias thing. It's because he caught fire that round of 8 last year that got him to the championship. So I'm just, you know, I guess it is biasly. I guess I am hoping that happens again, but I can also see it happening again. He's good at Texas, Kansas, and Martinsville. He can win any of those tracks. So I'm hoping.
I don't see Truex getting there. Like I think Truex, he's been way up and down too, just like Alex Bowman. But I think Alex Bowman, just like and Hendricks, I'm going to put them a little bit ahead where they're at versus where Truex is at in that Joe Gibbs camp.
Sure.
All right. I'm going to
give you, who you got?
I'm going to give you my round of 8. The top 4 are going to be the 4 that advance. The bottom 4, obviously the 4 that do not. Number 1 going to be Kyle Larson, of course, moving on to the final 4. Unless something crazy happens, you never know. I think Martin Truex Jr. is going to have a really good Martinsville race that's going to propel him in to the round of 4. I think Joey Logano is also going to have a pretty good performance at Martinsville.
I almost did just because he's the luck factor with him. Yeah, he squeaks one in when he.
Penske hasn't been the best. Logano hasn't been the strongest, but I feel like he's going to scum his way into the final 4 there. And then I think Kyle Busch is going to get in. The guy's getting knocked out. Ryan Blaney not making it out of the round of 8. Brad Keselowski not making it out of the round of 8. Denny Hamlin, who I did have going to the round of 4, I go, you know what? Something's going to happen. He's not going to make it this year. That's going to be the storyline. He's going to get eliminated from the round of 8. And sorry, Matt, Chase Elliott, I don't see, he got lucky last year at Martinsville, got his way into the round of 4. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to heat up the way he did or if someone's going to cool down. It could happen. Who knows? The final 4 could be, it could be William Byron, Kyle Larson, and Tyler Reddick and Blaney. Like you never know. Yeah. You know, you never know. But this is what my instincts are going, and I think Kyle Busch is going to be the 2021 champion.
Okay, I went with Larson. I mean, I can't argue with Kyle Busch. And like I said, I almost wish I kind of put Kyle Busch in the final 4 over Chase at this point.
Yeah.
I just think it's a toss up.
It really is. You never know.
Either way, I think Larson's winning the championship, regardless of who the other 3 are in the final 4 with him. Then again, at this point last year,
I went different than both you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point last year, we could have swore to God it was either going to be
Kevin
Denny or
Denny
Harvick that was going to win it. Like there wouldn't have been anything that changed our minds. And then you see how the rest of the year shook out. So you just never know. But as of right now, Larson is at the top of the racing world right now. And,
I just think
he's going to win.
I think if we're going, I had a hard time like doing this because bias involved and what you want to see happen and what I took a step back. I said, you know what? What if I'm reading a book? What if this is scripted? What if this is all planned out? What is going to generate? What is the buzz? What has been the buzz? So the buzz has been Larson's dominating. Oh, yeah. Larson's winning this. Everyone picks Larson to win every week. Larson's going to make the final 4, right? As the championship favorite.
Yeah.
But Kyle Busch, drama, typical Kyle Busch fashion, comes back, New Hampshire ordeal. Kyle Busch makes it. They need him there. Drama. They need Kyle Busch in the final 4. Next, you got Bowman, the dark horse. Oh, he snuck his way in. Get some ratings. Oh, Bowman, the underdog. Hendrick going in there. He beat out Chase Elliott. Elliott got knocked out. Bowman made it in. Next thing you know, you have Denny Hamlin, hasn't won a race all year. They get to the Final Four. What better race to win than the one to win the whole thing? Ruin Kyle Larson. Everyone's up there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Kyle Larson got beat. Denny Hamlin didn't win a race. He wins the final one, wins the championship. Kyle Busch comes in, third place, and Bowman, they're all running up there. But I think that's how it plans out from like a storybook version. If it was played out, how the ratings would want entertainment value. The top dog in Larson, Denny the points leader, no win, but consistent as hell. Mm-hmm. Kyle Busch is there for the drama, and Bowman's the underdog. And Denny comes out with the one win that he needs all year, and he holds off Larson, and Denny finally gets his.
Yeah, I think that's a hell of a theory. I think
that would
any
be a
one
great
of us.
Story too. That would be a really great story.
Yeah.
He wins the regular season points championship because Kyle Larson's been nipping at his heels, but he still hasn't got it. At one point, he's 2 points behind him. Now he's 10 points behind going in with 4 races left. Like that is a great storyline to look back on at the year.
Yeah, look at it not as a fan or like what you want. Look at it as like if this is made up. If it is.
We're not saying it is, but like, what's the great story? Yeah, I like it.
A great story would be a back-to-back champion.
Of course, yeah. No. The best story would be a sophomore driver who just barely makes it to the playoffs on the cut line, beats his teammate by 3 points, and then goes on to win the championship. And I would go on to win a couple $100 because I bet on him to win a championship before the Daytona 500 started. But I mean,
love speculating though, making up those stories in my head, like. Because even when like fantasy, it's all like you're trying to play the race out before you go. So like you're trying to, play it all out in your own head. Oh, I think this is going to happen. This could happen. And, it's interesting. I like the speculation.
You know what's going to be fun too is we'll have to like bookmark this episode that we
and
did
see
this.
how close we were.
Yeah.
We'll see how wrong we probably are going to be.
We're going to be so wrong. It's going to be unbelievable.
Everything that we know now in the NASCAR season is going to change once the playoffs come around.
Brad Keselowski is going to win a championship with his last year of Team Penske or something.
But you know
ridiculous.
what? It's
those are the ways you got to think. That's how you have to think about it. Yeah. That's the mentality you got to get in sometimes to see how these are going to shake out.
I'm scared that it's like something's going to happen where like the defending champion gets knocked out in the first round. Things like that happen.
Yeah.
So
you
never know you never know. I this year is going to be
as long as you have like wins and you're up there, I think those playoff bonus points will carry those top guys into the second. No matter what. Like normally the bottom 4 drop and they're done in that round of 16, and that's like a lot of people complain like why even have those guys there, like they're useless to begin with. They're not going to make it, but
you want to know what people said that about Austin Dillon last year, and he made it to the round of 12. He really impressed people near the end of the year, so you never know what's going to happen. But it should be fun to watch shape up after Daytona, which is only 5 races from now, which is absolutely insane how quickly this season. Well, no. After Daytona is 5 races from now.
After, yeah.
Which is insane how quickly this season is going. The playoffs are right around the corner, kicking off Labor Day weekend with the first race of the playoffs down at Darlington. I can't wait. It's going to be really exciting. We have been chugging along. We're already an hour and a half into it. Usually we wrap it up around now. I do have some pick lanes. I don't know if do you want to do the pick lanes? You want to just jump right into the Watkins Glen preview to get it over with?
Go right to the Watkins Glen. I think we had a good playoff preview as far as all that goes. Yeah. We'll save those pick lanes.
Yeah. I mean, the pick lanes aren't very time sensitive. I'll just save them for next week because I always struggle for good pick lanes. And I think we had 3 good ones. I'll give you a preview of the pick lanes. Should the All-Star race be an Olympic-style event with different things like Matt? What was the thing?
A relay race, man. Now you're gonna make me want to get into it.
We're teasing them. We're giving them a little taste of next week's pick lane.
Just the tip, buddy. Just the tip.
But with the Olympic break, with the Olympic break, we've been thinking about some crazy ideas when it comes to the All-Star race, but. We're back to regular sanctioned racing this weekend, we got a doubleheader on Saturday in Watkins Glen, New York, going to the Finger Lakes, gonna drink some wine and watch some road racing. Trucks will be back in action for the first time in over 3 weeks, even before the Olympic break. 12:30 on FS1 for the United Rentals 176. Then the Xfinity cars take the track at 4 p.m. on NBCSN for the Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey 200. And then Sunday, 3 p.m. Cup cars back on track for the Go Bowling at the Glen 220. And Matt, we got some stats that you're going to read off first. We got to go over the picks from New Hampshire. New Hampshire.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. New Hampshire, I picked Kyle Larson to win. That got me 35 points. So I was the highest points getter for New Hampshire. Eric picked Martin Truex Jr. He got you 25 points. And Matt picked Kyle Busch. He got you a single point. He, of course, wrecked out on lap number 6. If you didn't see that race, you want to get all caught up, listen to last episode. We got into it in depth.
But probably the most emotional episode we released this year.
It was. It was a very, very intense episode from everybody. But Matt, that puts you in last place for the week, which puts you in first pick for this week. But first, you want to give us some Watkins Glen stats.
Yeah, so we did not race there, like we talked about earlier in the episode. New York was locked down last year, so we have to go back all the way to 2016 for some stats. So I did the last 4 races. So the last 4 race winners was Hamlin back in 2016, MTJ in 2017, and then Chase in 18 and 19, back-to-back race winners there.
Yep.
And then we go with laps led. Chase has just dominated as far as laps led. It's been 141 laps led. The next closest is Kyle Busch with 56 laps led.
Yeah.
Average finishes inside the top 10. Martin Truex Jr. leads the charge there with a 3rd place average finish. Hamlin with a 5.3. Eric, your boy Eric Jones with a 6.3 average finish. Kyle Busch with a 6.8. Chase with a 7th place average finish. Daniel Suarez with an 8th place average finish. And Kurt Busch, no surprise there, with a 9th place average finish. And then, like I've said a bunch of times, my favorite stat here.
I really like this stat.
This is important. I think this is a really, really good stat.
Yeah, the top 5 most points accrued over the last 4 races at the Glen. Martin Truex Jr. with 196 points accrued. Chase Elliott, 170 total points. Denny Hamlin with 163. Kyle Busch with 154. And Brad Keselowski with 131. I just took the top 5 there with points accrued.
Okay.
So I'll let you guys digest that for a second. I am going first because I suck. I already know who I'm picking.
Come on, Matt, don't beat yourself up that bad.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You know what? I won't beat myself up over it because Kyle Busch, it was not his fault that he got knocked out of that race. It was NASCAR's.
It was.
Back to last
NASCAR's
episode if you want to hear some more of that energy. So I brought some props with me, guys. Eric, you can appreciate this. College football.
I'm sorry. We should stop calling Matt the Statman and start calling him the Mush, because every time he picks a driver, the guy wrecks out.
Fair. That's fair. College football is quickly approaching, and one of my favorite all-time analysts ever, Lee Corso, does where at the end of the College Game Day preview show on every Saturday morning, he puts on like a helmet to pick a driver or whatever, or I'm not a driver, a team for the game of the week. I don't have any helmets or anything like that, but I did bring some props. So it's my pick, and who do I have here? What do I have here?
Uh-oh. The number 9 defending back-to-back race winner.
So I am picking at the Glen. Not so fast, my friends. It's an old t-shirt, but it's
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Martin Truex Jr. to win at the Glen.
That's a good pick.
Wow. In Lee Corso fashion, all you were missing was a big drool coming out the side of your mouth. That's the only thing you were missing. You needed to spit on your camera and drool everywhere.
Oh, God love him. God love him.
You know, when you're reading off your stats, I was going to say Martin Truex Jr. is a good person to bet to get a podium, third through first place. A little safer bet, a little less payout, a little better odds for old MTJ. So if you are going the betting route, maybe put him as a podium win. All right, Eric. Well, now that Matt's made his pick.
I gotta go with the hot streak. You know, he was out there doing those ski shots, and he's out there getting the red and blues raspberries behind him, chasing around, and he's out there dancing around in bikinis. And you know what? Come this weekend, he's gonna be up there in wine country. Him and the Samantha Bush are gonna be there, clinking their glasses and celebrating a good old win at Watkins Glen.
Well, I'm saving Kyle Busch in fantasy for one last start here at Watkins Glen, and I was going to use him as my pick, but you got to him before I did. Thankfully, I have a prop too.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to pick to win, not the number 8, but the number 9, Chase Elliott. He's going to pull off his third road course win of the season and his third in a row at Watkins Glen.
That is great. That is great.
Oh, I like it. I love it.
Oh man, you want to know what, Matt? You threw that wrench in. I thought you were going to pick Chase, and then I figured
I let
Daytona,
you guys think about it all episode.
Well, no, I figured Daytona was going to pit Martin Truex Jr. and I was going to safely get Kyle Busch, who I thought was going to win. But I mean,
for those of you not watching this, you know, Whitey, he put on a hat, a Reddick 8
it was a
hat,
Tyler Reddick number 8 hat,
and at the last second, he put his finger over the bottom of the 8 to make it into a 9. Last second.
I mean, when it comes to road courses, those 3 guys, your kings. Denny Hamlin, Denny Hamlin, though, surprising in your points crude stat. He is a great road course racer, so maybe Denny gets his first win of the season.
I almost went Denny. But I just think Kyle Busch is riding such a wave of energy now. I could not go with Kyle Busch.
No, and you want to know what? Yeah. I'm sure the whole thing that happened at Loudon 2 weeks ago, it's going to be like, all right, well, now I'm going to make up some ground. He's refreshed.
What happened at Loudon?
I don't even know. Eric Almirola won. But no, I think you're right. I think he's refreshed. He's doing those ski shots. I think he was partying up. Now he's ready to get back to business in true Kyle effing Busch fashion. And I told you earlier, I think he might win the championship this year. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, this Sunday, the Cup Series finally back on track. Although I've been enjoying these Olympics too. I'll be sad to see them go. But your playoff picture so far, 22 races in, we have 13 different winners. That means there are only 3 spots to get yourself into the playoffs. Michael McDowell, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, and Eric Almirola all locked into the playoffs so far. We have 4 races left. Who will it be that locks themselves in the next couple of weeks to get into the playoffs? Will Kyle Busch get his 3rd win of the season at Watkins Glen? Will MTJ pull off his 4th win of the season? Or will Chase Elliott get his 3rd win of the season and his 3rd consecutive win at Watkins Glen? We will find out this Sunday. The Go Bowling at the Glen 220. 3 p.m. And we'll be back to break it all down on the Bump and Run podcast. For Matt the Statman Reilly, for Eric Daytona Ron, I'm Michael D. White saying have a good night.
Bump and